freezing cold morning, let's have some cold Riesling. Two really highly regarded wines from the Eden Valley. That's the high country east of the Barossa Valley, where the geology is very, very much older and very different. The first wine is from Mountadam. This is the great work of David Wynne, who started planting this vineyard right up high on the Eden Ridge in 1969. I expect this to be austere, more austere than the more limey wines of Clare. And it certainly does have the sort of lime and citrus florals and stuff that we expect of Riesling, but it's also bony and stony. It's very, very austere. It's a bit of a challenge first thing in the morning. It's so vibrant and fresh and crisp with really crunchy natural acidity. It's beautiful. David Wynne died in the mid-90s and Mountadam went through several ownerships in the interim, but it was eventually bought by a very enlightened and wonderful fellow called David Brown, who was a grape grower at Padthaway, and he's pulling Mountadam straight back onto the original track that David Wynne had in mind, which was a truly enlightened vision, and it's a beautiful wine. East of Mountadam and a little lower in altitude, there's an incredible old vineyard in sandstone and schist that was owned by a man called Colin Crone, who worked that vineyard for about 66 years of his 90. He died last year, but fortunately the vineyard is secure, and my friends Zara and Eleanor Brooks are making stunning wine from that old vineyard. I expect it to be of a slightly different style, mainly because of its lower altitude. And indeed it has a lot more flesh than the austere Mountadam wine. It's more limey, a little less lemon zesty. It's a little bit more comforting to sniff, a bit rounder. Not a better wine necessarily, in spite of all the bling it's got on it, which is well deserved, but it's a different style. It's fuller to smell. It smells fuller and creamier. It's not necessarily better, it's a different style. A little bit like an unoaked Chardonnay, but a lot better in my opinion. It still has that beautiful fine natural acidity and a little chalky dry tannin in the finish. Beautiful wine. Delicious. If you're faced with the choice of buying either of these wines, and my suggestion is you buy both and do your own comparison, think of it like this. The Mountadam wine is very austere, flinty, dry. Crunchy wine, makes you hungry. The Dandelion Vineyards from Crone's old vineyard at Eden Valley is more wholesome, it's more mouth-filling, more creamy, a little bit more fruity, not so tight and austere, but it still has the same sort of very, very fine, persistent natural acidity, which holds your mouth, pulls your mouth, makes you hungry. Both beautiful wines.